Let me acknowledge some of our guests who are here, some up in the front and some in the audience. Tom Carper was just up here. Tom, where did you sit? Here you are. Tom is Chairman Emeritus of Amtrak's board and has represented our state and particularly downstate very effectively. Thanks, Tom. Kirk Dillard. Kirk, we're glad you're here. Chairman of the RTA. Yes. Kevin Brubaker, glad to have you. Representing the environmental community. Andrea Kluger, Deputy Chief of Staff for the Chicago Federation, on her way. Aaron Ailman, Executive Director, Alleman, Executive Director of CMAP. I don't see, there he is, Senior Vice President Tom Katarik of the Transportation and Infrastructure Civic Committee of the Commercial Club of Chicago. And I think there's someone here from Neighborhood Technology who's going to join us. Well, they may. So they told me we're going to do a press conference today about bringing the Union Station into the 21st century. I said, dust off the boilerplate speech, which we've used so many times before, change the name of the mayor, and let's do it. Well, it turned out, there's more to the story, thank goodness. This time, I think you're going to find it's for real. And let me tell you why it's for real. It's for real because a president of the United States, Joe Biden, decided it was long overdue for us to have a national infrastructure bill. He put together a bipartisan coalition and passed this measure, and it meant that finally money was going to start to flow for key infrastructure around the United States. This project, the future of Union Station, runs about $418 million. 20% of that money is coming from an investment by Amtrak. 20% is coming from state and local sources who will speak to us and are represented today. The remainder is in what's known as a mega grant, massive grants that are being given through the infrastructure plan. And we brought together the congressional delegation, represented today by Chuy, Garcia, myself, to really work to organize with state and local sources something that finally made sense. This is a magnificent building, and obviously you look at the location and you realize its function and think to yourself, well, what are we going to do for the 21st century with this building? This is what we're undertaking here, coordinating state sources through Governor Pritzker, coordinating the local sources through the RTA and CTA and others to make this really come to life. The goal is very obvious. We've got to make sure we improve access to the station, increase on-time performance. And if you've ever waited for an Amtrak train in this station, and I have many, many times, you know the mob scene that ensues before the train is boarded. We're going to modernize the station with the passengers in mind to make it a positive experience for them. We also, Mayor, and I'm sure you'll address this at least tangentially, we also have the vision thing when it comes to linking up key elements of the economy of the Chicagoland area that we can put in one sentence. O'Hare, the Loop, McCormick Place, and Springfield is an incredible statement, but it's possible, and this is going to be the center of that activity. So we put together an effort in Washington that brought some money home to Chicago and to Illinois. But there's more to do. We will tell you this morning what this plan is, and the mayor and others will discuss the vision that they have beyond. I want to call up now my colleague and friend, Chuy Garcia. He's from the 4th Congressional District. He's a member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure. Chuy?
Thank you very much, and good morning to all. I am delighted to be here with this wonderful partnership up here and out in the audience as well. And of course, it's always great to be with Senator Durbin and Mayor Lightfoot as representatives of some of the most important transit agencies in the region as well. We've got IDOT here, we have Amtrak, we have Metra, the Cook County Department of Transportation, the city is here, and of course more. Chicago is the transportation hub of the nation, air, freight, passenger rail. commuter rail, and of course the Great Lakes and our great waterways, and you name it, we've got it. But that didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen by accident. It happened because strategic planning has been underway, as CMAP will attest, for decades. And of course, there has also been long-term investment, and the infrastructure bill is an important part of that. Delighted to be a partner with Senator Durbin as we fight for as many resources as possible. And of course, we've got to keep it up so that we don't fall behind, and that's why every day on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I fight for those resources, and that's why the Union Station Access Project is all about improving rail service and keeping Chicago ahead of the curve. And that's why all these transportation leaders have come together here today to support this effort. I'm proud to join them, and will continue to fight every day to make sure that Chicago and Illinois see the transportation infrastructure investments that we deserve. Thank you so much. Thanks,
It's a challenging job, but it's a great opportunity to be mayor of the city of Chicago. Mayor Lightfoot and I have worked together since her election to try to bring federal resources back to the city, to make it a better place to live, and to make sure that taxpayers in this town believe there's a return on their investment in Washington. I'm happy to welcome up to the podium Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Senator Durbin. Thank you for Congressman Garcia, who's still my congressman for a few more months. And I want to also thank all of our other partners who are here at the state and federal level. Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner, IDOT Transportation Secretary Omar Osman, Metra CEO Jim Derwinski, Cook County Department of Transportation Representative Sis Kellen, Kurt Dillard, who we've known each other for a very long time in lots of different capacities, and really appreciate your leadership on the RTA, and CDOT Commissioner Gia Biaggi. As you've heard, we're all here because we share a bold vision for Chicago Union Station and the future of intercity rail transportation for our entire region. We want to expand green transportation services in the Midwest, create reliable access to and from Chicago, which reduce travel times and give people the opportunity to travel without their cars. Modernize this century-old, incredible icon of Union Station into a state of good repair to significantly improve the customer experience and accommodate future growth in both intercity and commuter rail ridership. As the Senator said in his opening remarks, this vision has been years and years in the making, and now we finally have a chance to make it reality. And that is, no doubt, thanks to President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. We have a historic opportunity to make an unprecedented, transformative investment in passenger rail services. The mega grant is what it's called. The application, led by Amtrak, is currently pending approval by the U.S. Department of Transportation. And I want to thank Amtrak for taking the lead in that application process. And I will tell you, I have not been shy in bending the ear of U.S. DOT Secretary Buttigieg, who comes through Chicago with some frequency, to say this project is critically important to the future of transportation, not only in Chicago, not only in Illinois, but the entire upper Midwest. We have an opportunity to do something big and bold that's years in the making, and we need to get it done, of course, with DOT's help. Let me tell you, if Chicago wins this grant, hundreds of millions of dollars will be made available for Chicago Union Station improvements that will realize our vision for the future of transportation in our region and the nation. Of course, thousands of jobs will be created in the redevelopment of Union Station. And with this funding, we'll not only modernize and improve the station, but provide commuters with reliable, fast, environmentally friendly rail services to all parts of the Midwest, the nation, and as far away as Toronto, Canada. Proposed fixes will benefit local routes and connect O'Hare and McCormick Place, which would be a tremendous opportunity for us. And yes, I'm biased. It'll get me to Ann Arbor for Michigan football games just that much faster, which I will appreciate. This opportunity brings a possibility of uniting and connecting the nation, urban and rural towns, red states and blue states, and back and forth, and would grow our economy by creating jobs and opportunity for residents in every neighborhood of Chicago and beyond. I want to emphatically thank and express my support for this mega grant application led by Amtrak, and I call upon the federal government to help us realize this bold vision once and for all by granting our application. I know that President Biden himself is an avid train rider and Amtrak supporter, and so I feel very confident about this moment. You know, we have had thoughts about this, a vision about this, going back many, many years, but this is our moment. And I feel very optimistic about what the possibilities are. So I just want to say thank you again to Amtrak for leading. Thank you for our Chicago delegation. Congressman Garcia's sitting on the Transportation Committee really helped Chicago, not just his district, but the entire city and the region. So I thank you, Congressman, for that. We can't say enough about the leadership of our senior senator, Senator Dick Durbin, but all of us coming together. Transportation is a thing that unites us. There are many things that we have in common across this region, and we talk about and emphasize regionalism all the time. But whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're independent, it doesn't matter what your political stripe is. Transportation unifies us all. It's critically important to the future of our region, and I think this project really gives us a tremendous opportunity. So with that, I'd love to welcome Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner, who's visiting our fair city, to the podium. Sir, please share some words with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and it's a great pleasure to be here to talk about the incredible coalition that's come together to support this huge opportunity. We've been working in partnership with the city, with our colleagues at Metra, with Illinois DOT, to incrementally improve this building and make this station the center point that it rightfully should be for commerce, mobility, and culture in this city, connecting not only Illinois destinations, but the entire Midwest to the vibrancy and incredible potency of this city. With the passage of the IIJ, the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act, and the leadership from the administration, the president, and the incredible congressional delegation led by Senator Durbin, we now have an opportunity to take a step of a whole different order, to go past the incremental improvements we've been making to really change fundamentally the capability of this station and our network to grow passenger rail. At Amtrak, we firmly believe we need more trains serving more people in more places all across America. There's no path to dealing with the mobility challenges of this country or the climate crisis without rail doing a lot more. And that's moving more people and goods. And we believe that investments like the program that we have put forward here together with our partners can open up this network to serve more people with more trains with reliable service and allow them to connect for opportunities, to see family, and to do so in a way that advances our goals towards reducing greenhouse gas emissions from the sector that produces the most in the United States, transportation. So we're incredibly thankful to be here and to have this partnership, which brings together Amtrak investment and investment from all the parties here to go after this opportunity with the new mega grants. And as the mayor said, none of us are going to be shy in talking about the power of this program. When I look across Amtrak's 21,000-mile, 46-state network, I see no program and project as important as this in terms of the benefits it creates across our service. It's not just here in the city, it's not just in Illinois, it's not just in Midwest services. Amtrak's entire national network benefits from the improvements that have been put forward in this application. So we are very thankful for the opportunity to be here working together to advance this program. We are building up our capabilities and our partnerships so that if we are successful, we will launch this program and deliver benefits as soon as we can, because this is not a project that can wait. This is going to open up the opportunities to serve more people in more places with rail, which is what the nation has to do. So thank you very much for all the partnership here that's making this happen. And we are going to deliver here. We just need some help from the US DOT, and I'm confident that they're going to see the incredible value that this program represents for making a difference in mobility in America.
Omar Osman is here, Secretary of Transportation, representing the Pritzker administration, which has been a very valuable partner in this process. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and good morning. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Governor Pritzker and the entire team at the Illinois Department of Transportation, I am thankful that I have been invited to share this celebration today. 3 years ago, this summer, and thanks to the vision of the governor and the General Assembly, the governor had his historic bipartisan Rebuild Illinois, a $45 billion capital program that includes $33.2 billion for transportation. Rebuild Illinois was the largest and the first multimodal capital program in our history. And it does include nearly $1.1 billion for rail. And that includes, and we did talk about the reliability, we did talk about more rail and more customers to serve. And that includes $500 million to reestablish service to the Quad Cities and Rockford. $100 million to upgrade the Champaign-Carbondale line. And $400 million to support the CREATE program right here in Chicago, an effort that's been a true public-private partnership with the city, county, state, and federal partners, all working together with the freight and passenger railroads to modernize a key asset that puts Illinois on the map and continues to provide us with a competitive edge. Bottom line, Rebuild Illinois puts Illinois IDOT, Illinois DOT, back in the business of building and maintaining a premier transportation network that creates jobs and improves quality of life. Once again, thank you to the leadership of the Senator and the entire Illinois delegation. Last year's passage of Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, IIJA, means Illinois is poised to remain the transportation hub of North America for generations to come. When we were asked to submit projects for consideration that are transformational with regional and national significance, you cannot do better than Union Station. This project would not be possible without the tremendous teamwork of everyone here. We are excited at IDOT to work with Amtrak, our other state partners, and all the stakeholders on this project, and we stand ready to assist in any way necessary. And I actually look forward to coming back here soon when we can announce the start of construction. Thank you. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Dwinski, the Executive Director of Metra. Jim.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here with this audience today. What a remarkable day. It's an amazing step to get things done right. When I first started this job in 2017, I saw these plans. We sat in rooms, we looked at the plans. Why were we looking at plans? The senator pointed out we have to move into this century. The mayor pointed out this is a 100-year-old building. It was never designed to do what we're making it do today. Pre-COVID, 110,000 passengers passed through here. And sometimes they pass through here in about a 2.5-hour window. Chairman Dillard rides the BNSF on a normal basis, loves the 1953 cars we keep in service for him. But on a given day, as we all know on railroads, once in a while something happens. And when there's a mistake that happens, a switch that fails, something happens. All these people keep coming into the station. They have nowhere to go. This project really takes the passenger and puts them first. It's going to completely change the throughput of the station, not just for the passengers, but for the trains, so that when we do have those little things that happen on railroads, we'll be able to recover so much faster. This is going to be a great economic development. When this station was built, those buildings around us weren't here. Steam engines hauled trains into here from multiple different lines, hence the name Union Station. So I'm very, very glad to be part of this. I want to thank Stephen Gardner again for really leading the charge on this. Amtrak has been in a position for many years that they've been underfunded. And this is now the opportunity to fix a lot of the things that they've inherited, just like Metra's inherited. We have a share of 130 old bridges if you want to go look at old stuff. But I do appreciate this opportunity to be a partner here. And these partnerships, I believe, are exactly what this nation needs to move forward. Thank you very much.
Jennifer Killen, Superintendent, Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways. Jennifer.
Thank you, Senator. I am honored to be here today to represent Cook County and President Tony Preckwinkle, along with our agencies, our industry leaders, you, Senator, and thank you, Congressman Garcia. We're here today to highlight strategic alignment and to support our region's transportation leaders behind the Chicago Access Project and the improvements here to Union Station. We recognize what it means to our city, to our region, to our community, to our residents, and to our businesses. The bipartisan infrastructure law has created the funding opportunity to advance critical infrastructure all across the country. Thank you, Senator Durbin, again for having me here today and for the work of you and your fellow delegation members to make this opportunity possible. As mentioned already, the Chicago region is the freight hub of the nation. Add to that the robust passenger network, and there is a very delicate ecosystem that needs to be managed to provide safe and efficient operations. Today's event highlights this region's continued commitment to provide improved infrastructure and transportation options. President Preckwinkle recognizes that good transportation service is one of the core reasons that businesses choose our region here in Chicago and contributes to the strong economic advantage that we hold. Investment in passenger and freight rail and the facilities that serve them is an essential part of addressing the congestion on our roads and meeting the travel needs of our residents. Cook County is pleased to be a strong financial partner to the advancement of the Chicago Access Project and improvements at Chicago Union Station. Leveraging our collective resources makes us stronger. Our unity behind this critical project with all of our partners that are gathered here today shows and strongly demonstrates our collective desire to deliver a project that is going to strengthen transportation infrastructure and move long-term sustainability and growth in our country and in our county. I am grateful again for the partnership we have here today and look forward to returning for the completion of this impactful project with the Federal Infrastructure Funding Award under the U.S. DOT Mega Program. Thank you.
We'll take some questions if you'd like to direct.
Thanks a lot, Senator. Appreciate that. Amanda and I will pass down the mic. We'll start with on-topic questions. 2 questions per reporters, please. Melody from Block Club.
Good morning. I'm curious if there's any indication sort of where the process is currently with the grant application, if there's any indication that we're close to the finish line to be able to say we absolutely have this grant coming our way.
I can tell you that the mayor and governor and I had a conversation just a few months ago anticipating this. There's a lot of money coming out of Washington in a hurry. If you're organized, you've got a plan, a credible approach, we think we have a solid position to start with. We're near the finish line. The announcement could be very soon. But the coalition that we put together, including obviously Amtrak on a national basis, I think is going to give us a lot of strength in that process.
Thank you.
Craig Wall, ABC.
I've got off topic, so if anyone else has on topic.
Manny, sometimes? Off topic? Go ahead, Craig.
If we can direct a question to the mayor. We touched on this yesterday.
The what, I'm sorry?
We touched on this yesterday with the Highland Park shooting, but I was remiss in asking about this weekend with the Taste of Chicago starting and with the WNBA All-Star Game coming here to Chicago. Just wondering, how does what happened in Highland Park weigh into the security plannings? How do you secure rooftops?
Well, first of all, I think all of us are still in a bit of shock at the level of just senselessness and carnage that happened in Highland Park. And obviously we have challenges here in the city on a daily basis. But when you think about our country and how we come together to celebrate democracy, we don't have tanks and military parades. We have community gatherings. We have picnics. We have parades. I was reading another article about the kids portion of the parade where young children were riding bicycles. I mean, it doesn't get any more American, in my view, an expression of who we are as a people than the gathering in Highland Park. So it's still with an extraordinarily heavy heart, not just about Highland Park, but what happens on a daily basis here in Chicago, what we've seen in other tragedies recently, Uvalde, of course, which was devastating, Buffalo, of course, Philadelphia, just these things that have happened in the last month. Where I go is, what do we do? What more do we need to do to take the guns out of the hands of people who absolutely should never possess them? I think that's a conversation that's happening at every level of government all across our country. But in terms of preparation, we spend an enormous amount of time on any large-scale event, months ahead of time, planning for those activities. Planning so that people can enjoy them, planning so that they can have fun. The logistics involved are always complicated, but we spend an enormous amount planning, and of course, an intrinsic part of that planning is looking at safety, looking at known threats and looking at possible threats and what we would do in the event that an emergency happens, but also what are we doing on the front end to make sure that we're preventing anything from happening. I mean, look, as you've seen in other parts of the world, somebody who's determined can wreak havoc, but we do everything that we can on the front end. By Tuesday morning, I had reached out already to the police department, the fire department, OEMC, and everybody who is involved in the planning of our large-scale events to say, what can we learn from Highland Park? What can we learn from Philadelphia? Are there things that we need to do in the events that are going to be taking place for the rest of the summer and into the early fall that we need to make adjustments or not? And obviously, I'm not going to go into here any details of what adjustments, if any, were made, but it is something that's always top of mind for us. We always think, there but for the grace of God go I, and then respond accordingly to make sure that we're looking through plans for upcoming events, re-looking at after-action reports, because we always do have after-action discussions. Even when we think something has gone off successfully, there's always more that can be done. So we are very mindful of what's happened. We're looking at all events that are coming on the calendar from now till really the fall, and making sure that we're learning the lessons learned that we can. Obviously, it's early days from Highland Park and Philadelphia, but we've got connections and resources to all across the country, so we take advantage of those to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make sure our events are fun, entertaining, and importantly, safe.
Yeah, and just following up to the red flag laws, there's calls now for a special session to deal with gun violence, mental health issues. Do you think there should the governor call a special session to address this, and should these red flag laws be tightened even in Illinois so that we don't fall through the cracks like what happened in Highland Park?
Look, I'll leave it to the governor and the state legislators to determine whether or not there needs to be a special session. But I think when you see something like this, where the reporting is police were at this young man's home twice related to potential suicide and potential threats, and those seemingly were documented by the local police and then fed into the state police system, it certainly makes you wonder and whether or not there's some opportunity for us to do better. I think the director of the state police, with whom I have a great deal of respect, I think has spoken to these issues. But just as the first question you asked, which is, are we doing enough? We have to ask, in light of these tragedies, is there more that can be done? But fundamentally, also, we've got to make sure that the people who are executing on these plans are well-trained and that there's accountability metrics to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing. So we can pass all the laws, but that the human element of it can't be overlooked, and that requires training and diligence and making sure that there are clear metrics to measure whether or not they're doing their job in a way that the lawmakers intended, the ways that the rules are written. So this is not simplistic, it's complicated, but I think every part of the ecosystem, looking at how someone in that certain situation got access to a gun, in light of his history, we have to look at every single piece of that. We're doing the same thing here in Chicago. Is there something more that we could be doing to tighten up our reporting, to make sure that there's no gaps in the system? Everyone has to, I think, look at that in light of the horrible tragedy that we saw happen in Highland Park.
That's a wrap, Mayor. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.